they do not necessarily reflect the roles they have. They don't necessarily participate in these type of user roles. But Josh, do you have a...
Yes, I do. And keep in mind, next door we have an event Nick told us, so project that voices, please. Yes. All right. Shannon Honadle of Honadle.com has been in business for herself for 9 years. She's been working in IT for 20 years since her internship with ACH Foods, then known as AC Homeco.
Yes.
Via University of Memphis. While knowledgeable, Shannon's biggest strength is her adaptability to work with different types of customers. Many are impressed with her troubleshooting skills, but Shannon credits this to being God-given due to her rate of success. Her absolute favorite thing she likes to do for a client is improve their productivity, such as showing them something that is already part of Windows or Macs, or introduce them to a new app that can save someone numerous clicks in their daily workflow. In addition to Honadle.com, Shannon is affiliated with her church, Covenant UMC, formerly serving on the Board of Trustees. She's now working on the Financial Committee and is happy to announce they have paid off all debt this year.
$1.5 million.
Great. She also is the moderator for a Bible study class on Sunday nights. Her personal passions run vast and deep. Right now, they include gaming, documentaries, and podcasts. She participated in several murder mystery parties here in Memphis, Arkansas, and Nashville. But right now, she's looking forward to her cruise in February, which can't get here too soon. I was going to say soon enough, but too soon. Very good, yes. This is the final chapter of this book. One new dream she's developed is she wishes that she could have her own panel podcast on various TV shows, movies, and books. Shannon Honadle.
So again, they don't necessarily reflect the roles they're playing, but each of these people are symbolizing a particular kind of computer user. Okay, and this is how you guys can experience when you run into someone like this. If you hear these particular complaints, perhaps you can adapt what I can do for them. Okay, so we're going to start with Sandy, Nita, and then Paul. So Sandy, just read number 1.
I'm a basic computer user. I use a computer only because my company makes me do so. I get nervous when something new is given to me and I don't adapt well to changes of any kind. I cringe when I hear there is a new version of software.
Okay. Now there are people out there like this and I can help them. I have a particular example in mind, a financial planner who was retiring, wanted to move his stuff back at home, and his 8-year-old computer was really starting to show its age. So he contacted me, I was helping him with it. He did not use Office for anything but Outlook. He did not open Word, and when I asked him about Excel, he asked me what was that. He strictly did PDFs. But going from Office 2003, i.e. Outlook 2003, to the latest version of Outlook was going to be a huge struggle for him. So what I was able to do was provide him with an alternative email client that happened to be free, and it looked very similar to Outlook 2003. It's not exact, it can't be an exact replication, they get in trouble for that. But it was allowing him to do the transition, so when he got the new computer, again, I also was able to set it up with Windows 7, which is what he had before, and try and get it to look exactly the way the old one was. And that's what I can do in a situation where a user just does not adapt at all to change, and sometimes they tend to panic when they see anything new. Nita, number 2.
I am the overworked owner of my company. I'm not a computer person. I'm just comfortable and familiar with computers. So thus everyone comes to me to help them with their computer issues. Sometimes I can help them when I have my own job to do. For example, hiring an employee is part of my job, along with ordering a new computer and email address. However, I've been stuck setting these things up myself. I'm already busy enough as it is, and it always seems like I'm forgetting something when I'm done.
So this particular kind of person is the best, my ideal customer, because I can come in and really take a lot of the stress from her, because it's not her job to actually manage the computer systems, but that's kind of what's kind of happened over it. So for example, when she's trying to hire a new employee, or when she needs to get a new computer for someone, she just calls me up. Once I get to know them, I'm able to take care of that lickety split. I don't get to say that enough, but I do. And in other words, I have one customer, for example, he called me up and they were getting a new computer. It had crashed for their engineer. And because I had replaced that computer a few years ago, I had all the notes and knew exactly what to expect. I'm like, well, an everyday average laptop for this user is not going to be acceptable. He needs a number pad, he needs a large screen, he needs the high resolution, he needs to be able to run AutoCAD and other programs, he needs a docking station. And I already knew that, whereas if Bruce had to be left to remember all that himself, he would have forgotten and probably ordered the wrong equipment. But because I manage it for them and have it in my notes, I knew exactly what this user is and installed it yesterday. So, Paul, if you could read.
I'm the IT person in the company. Perhaps I'm an actual tech support person that works in-house for the company. Or maybe I'm a computer-savvy user who prefers to micromanage and do things myself. I don't see the need of hiring a consultant to come in when I'm here.
Well, that's okay. You know, sometimes I run into people like this. I can still help them out. In a situation like this, I'd like to be your computer sales vendor. You need to purchase computers, I can get computers for you. And because we are both IT people, or you're very savvy, we can talk on the same level. And you can tell me what you want, and I'll make sure. If you say you need to have a good video card, then I'll make sure it has a good video card, and I can adapt. You can also, you might appreciate more refurbished computers, and because you can work on them yourselves, that may work out better for you. And also, I can provide you with software licenses on a cheaper rate, so I can still help this customer. How are we doing on time?
6 minutes.
Oh, I have 6 minutes left, or I'm at, okay, well, that's great. So, Sandy, do number 2.
My problem is that you can show me how to use something, and I can do it right then. I catch on. And even maybe the next day, I'll remember how to do it. But if I don't use it every day, a week later, I have completely forgotten.
These kinds of customers, you need to have a lot of patience with. And some IT people out there aren't known for their patience. I work really well with these people. Again, I have another customer, and I had sat down with him. His fax machine had died, and he could understand how to walk up to the machine and scan and fax it. But once it got to the computer, he'd be confused, because what we had to do now was scan it in, and he would email it. And he struggled with that. I wrote down the instructions. I sat down with him. We went over it. 1 week later, he had forgotten what to do. He couldn't adapt. He would go back to the computer. He could handle the printer, but when he would sit down and do it, he would just be lost. So I realized that he was more visual, so I created a flow chart for him. And I had yes, no. So when you walked back to, because actually sometimes the computer may not pop up the screen you need, or it may look in a particular order. So the flow chart worked better, where I could say, do you have a screen on your computer with the name of the document? Yes, no. And basically send him down that path. And that worked out so much better, because if the computer did something else, or if it clicked on another screen and he wasn't aware of it, I could say, look at the bottom of your screen and see if something's flashing. So that's what I can do.
Excellent. So my company does a lot of things, and sometimes unusual circumstances occur. For example, I wound up having to send an employee to a customer site for an indefinite amount of time to oversee a project we were doing. The problem is, this employee did not have a company laptop, and we did not have an extra one. It frustrated me because this was just temporary, and it seemed overkill to pay for a brand new laptop for him to use just a few months. Also, Shannon's time is per hour, so setting up a new computer takes extra money on the hardware.
So in this case, the customer called me up and asked me what I could do for him. Because he didn't need a $700 laptop, we went ahead and worked out a deal. The cheapest laptop that I sell is $225. Now that's refurbished, but basically you can turn it on and ready to go. It's got an Office-like program on it, it's already got some basic antivirus, it's got Chrome and Firefox installed, and it could have Windows 7 or Windows 10. So you could be ready to go immediately if you need to. Within the same day, I can almost get it to you. In his case, he wanted a little bit more work. He wanted it to have something that actually was Office on the computer, and go ahead and set up the email for this particular user. So all he had to do was just open up his email. So there was a little bit more work, but it was in the off-site charge, and I was able to get it to him by the